from Morganton. He has been with us before, but we hope he doesn't mind coming back and coming back and coming back, because you know he might win. He might be your new congressman in the 11th district. Lance, nice to have you with us.
Thank you. It is great to be back, and yes, I do hope to be coming back and coming back. It's been, last time I was here, I guess it was probably about 4 months ago, and activity is picking up, which is good for the candidates and good for our party. Unfortunately, things are getting worse, progressively worse, as you might know from watching the gas prices and what's going on in our communities. I am a neighbor of yours from down in Buncombe County. I'm running for the U.S. Congress. I'm a father of 4, married 37 years to my wife, Mary Jo. I'm a Tea Party Republican. I initiated the first Tea Party down in Buncombe County back in 2009, and I have spoken at 4 Tea Parties since then. I've been voting conservative Republican now since 1972 when I first voted for Nixon. I'm an American businessman, and by that I mean I start American companies with American ingenuity, the American free enterprise system, and the American work ethic. I've started 16 companies. 2 of those companies made the Inc. 500 list for the 500 fastest growing companies in America, and twice I've been Entrepreneur of the Year finalist here in our Southeast region. Now I realize some of you are not in the 11th district, but please know that whatever I do for the surrounding counties, it's going to affect the Asheville area. And that's why I talk about not the 11th district, but Western North Carolina, because we're all living as neighbors here. I am not a politician. I'm an American businessman. I'm not a salesman. I'm a nuts and bolts, hands-on guy who likes to get things done. I'm a serial entrepreneur, if you will. I look at a problem and I see opportunities. And we have some tremendous opportunities or problems here in Western North Carolina. Now, being a businessman, when we have a lot of problems, we don't try to attack them all at once. We look at the one that is sticking up the tallest, the nail that is standing up highest, and we pound that one down first. Well, the nail that is standing up tallest here in Western North Carolina is jobs. We need jobs, good paying jobs, jobs that cannot be exploited. I support tax reform to simplify our tax code, to get all forms of social engineering out of it. It is the social engineering that makes it 70,000 pages long. And by that I mean if I want you to do something, I give you a tax break. If I don't want you to do it, I'm going to tax you. Taxes should be for 2 things: to pay our bills and defend our country. And that's it. It ought to be off the table. I am strongly in favor of term limits to get the professional politicians out of Washington. They lose touch with what reality is, and they lost the value of the dollar. That's why they can't quit spending it. They do not know how to stay in office without spending money. And term limits would limit that. They ought to be on the 22nd Amendment with the president, 2 4-year terms, and then they move on. I am against amnesty. I believe our parents taught us there are consequences to our wrong actions, and we should not sacrifice that culture for someone who has broken our laws. I stand strong on the Second Amendment and have been a gun owner since I was 6 years old. I support the Defense of Marriage Act, traditional marriage. I am against all forms of abortion, all forms. I believe any idea conceived by God should be cared for in this lifetime. I read and study the Bible every morning. It's the King James Version. I'm kind of old school. Not long ago, I read chapter 3, verse 16. Not John 3:16, but Daniel 3:16. It's where Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are standing in front of King Nebuchadnezzar and the fiery furnace. And they said, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter." This is the kind of attitude, this is the kind of stance we need to take in standing up to political correctness. We are not careful in answering you in this matter. The first stand I'll take is to affirm God in government. Not religion in government, but God in government. We have a government that is trying to abolish all reference to God in our government, in our schools, and down into the states. There was a famous poet and philosopher, a guy named G.K. Chesterton, back in the 1920s and 30s. G.K. Chesterton wrote, "Once abolish the God, and the government becomes the God." Is this not what is happening in Washington now? Where we have a government that is trying to get everybody to come to it for all our needs. This is a change in our culture, and it needs to stop. We need to turn it around, and I will take those steps. Every day, I worry that we're losing the America our parents left us. I mean, when we were growing up, could you have imagined America be borrowing money from a communist country? I mean, what in the world? Or that our economy, the greatest economy in the world, would be dependent on the oil coming out of the Middle East. We need to mine our coal, drill our oil, tap our natural gas, and build safe nuclear power plants. We can do this. And once again, demonstrate to the world that we are America, self-reliant in determining our own future. This coming election is huge, and it starts with you all. What kind of country are we going to leave our future generations? The generations we'll never meet. Are they going to look back on us and say, "What were you thinking to leave us such a mess after your parents left you such a wonderful America?" Or is it going to be an America that is heading in the right direction, growing stronger, demonstrating to the world we are the center of the global economy and the center of world freedom?